Bum. We're here. We're live. Welcome to the Poker Live podcast. My name's Joey Gramone, aka Chicago Joey. Before we get started with the podcast, I want to tell you guys, check out my new kind of old website, onepokerlife.com. I'll be posting different forms of poker content on there each day. You can also check out the podcast we did a couple days ago with Daniel Negreanu Kid Poker. It's a very great episode once you get past the Poker Stars conversation. And you can find the podcast on iTunes. Search Poker Life. Next week, we're having Daily Fantasy Sports Week. It'll be, I don't know, it'll be six Daily Fantasy Sports podcasts in a row to get you guys ready to lose all of your money come NFL Week 1 on Daily Fantasy Sports. So, all right, let's get into the podcast. Joining us today is a young man who we've asked every single guest, do you have a Viffer story? Do you have a Viffer story? Some say yes, some say no. Well, finally, we got the man himself on the podcast. He's not on video because he alleges that there could be a porn in the background. There's a newborn baby running around. Shout out to the newborn child that he just had yesterday. We got David Pete, a.k.a. Viffer, in the house. What's up, puppy? Welcome to the podcast, man.
What's up, Joey? Thank you for having me.
Man, they're going to be so disappointed they can't see your face, my friend. Like I said, the people, they want to see Viffer's face, man. I think that I got a crush on you, I think. That's
all right. I have a crush on them too, but I'm married. I'm happily married. I just had a kid, and we're just going to leave it at that. I don't want to have any new man crushes.
You probably got a lot of man crushes already after all of your shenanigans on televised poker over the years.
Yeah, I've had some fun on televised poker. Poker on TV's treated me pretty well.
All right, let's for those that don't know who Viffer is, which I mean, I guess some people might not know if you've only been following poker the past couple of years. If you guys are from Twitch, you may not know much about Viffer. Viffer, why don't you give the people a little bit of a rundown of you and the poker world?
I don't know, the poker world. You sit at a table, you try to take money from somebody, and then you go spend it on strippers. I mean, that's like the poker world. Like, so you try to accumulate wealth so you could buy more strippers.
So, I mean, that's the answer we're looking for. All right. So for yourself, you in the poker world, you play poker to end up going, what's your favorite strip club? Spearmint Rhino, Sapphire? You want like one of those Asian ones in Chinatown? What's your thing?
You know, I'll be honest with you. The strip clubs in Vegas over the last 5 or 6 years have really gone downhill. First of all, they're not fun anymore. I mean, they're just not fun. And there's a few reasons why. But mostly all the hot girls now in Vegas, right? They used to come to Vegas, and they'd be these hot little cuties from like L.A. or San Diego or Phoenix or something. And they'd be like these college girls coming in, and they'd be fun and bubbly and cute as could be, right? So now you have these cute little girls, and they come into town instead of guys like trying to grope them and making their $500 or $1,000 a night at the strip club. They go work at the pools or the clubs and whatever else, and they do bottle service or whatever else. They make their $500, $1,000 a night, and they keep half their clothes on. So the clubs and the pools have taken all the hot girls out of the strip clubs in Vegas. On top of which, now all the girls in there are like crackheads and everything else. So it's just not fun. When we went to, and I say we because now we're this old guy, you know, I'm going to start telling these when I was your age stories.
That's okay.
But back in the day, you know, when everybody had money, like there was money flowing fluently throughout the poker world, and all of my friends were like rich or, you know, had great earning potential. You know, we'd go out to the clubs, we'd have a great time, and then we'd end up at the Rhino and have breakfast there because they had the greatest like chicken fingers or French fries or the grilled cheese sandwich. So it was just like kind of like you just always end up there. And plus, like, you grab the girls from the club and you take them to the Rhino and then whatever else. So it was like, it was pretty cool. But now it's just, they charge you $30 for a bottle of water. It's just a bunch of bullshit. So it's just not fun.
It sounds like with poker style, Dan, you got to adapt or dive. If you either got to figure out a way to get past this rule, or I guess, you know, or you just get married. So you're married now. You probably know more strip club adventures for your. I'm not gonna assume that. Let me take that back. Are there any other still strip club adventures for you, or now you're retired? You got your child. Are you done with that time?
I'm encouraged to go to the strip clubs and go out and have fun with my friends. So I've got the greatest girl in the world, but but she's slow roll. She gives me like this slow roll, right? Like we were living in San Diego, and I was going to Vegas to meet some friends and stuff like that. And she's like, "Oh, I don't care what you do. Have a good time." I'm like, "Fuck, this ain't no fun." Like it's like half the fun's like trying to hide it, or like lie about it, or something like that.
How is that half the fun?
So you know what I mean, though. It's like you go to Vegas, you're not really supposed to do stuff, so you absolutely do it. But then, like when she says, "Hey, go do whatever you want," it's like, fuck, like that's no good. So, anyways, it's just like kind of mind fucking. But to me, anyways, like I said, the strip clubs are just no fun anymore.
What was going on in these strip clubs before? So you're telling me there's not like they're all like cam models, they're all like professional escorts, professional stripper, like lifetime strippers. All the cute girls, none of them do that anymore. Not none of the places.
They're just not. Seriously, like we'd have 4 or 5 guys, we'd have like 10 girls just come around. Half of them would just like party with us. The other half would just like come home and party with us, no money, no nothing, just to have a good time. Like now the girls are like hardened professionals that just, hey, give me money to stay, or, like they're just not fun anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like they're not looking. The girls are like in there, they just want to get their money and go. And it's just like, it's like, it's just.
It's like poker used to be, people would come there, they'd come there, have a good time, they come lose money. Now everyone's on their iPad, they're on their iPhones, they're trying to make, they're not trying to give money away, they're trying to like grind it out professionally. It's kind of like, it sounds like that's how Vegas strip clubs have developed over these past couple of years.
Yeah, everybody's ruined Vegas. The whole Vegas economy is different. Even the economy in poker is different here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like $10,000 now in poker money is like back 7, 8, 9 years ago. Everything, the whole poker economy is different even.
So I guess so people, I guess you got a little backstory about Viffer, but so you've been playing in the high stakes cash games. You got pretty well known in the poker world for playing on a lot of the high stakes poker after dark. You hit the 9-ball corner pocket on Phil Hellmuth, one of my favorite fucking hands of all time on televised poker. God,
that's really true. So I grew up online playing on PokerStars when the like biggest games were like 2-4 and 3-6 and stuff. So okay. A lot of the guys that have been around forever know me from playing on PokerStars, and I played with like Z Justin and back in that days when he got accused of cheating or whatever you want to call it. Like back then it wasn't. It wasn't frowned upon. It was. At a time there was a thread on 2+2 or something about how to change the execute file on your computer so you could run 2 clients on one computer and all this stuff. Like it was talked about, like people openly talked about it or stuff like that. So anyways, that's where I learned how to play poker online way back when.
Mm-hmm.
And, So I don't know. So anyway, so that's where I got my start, and then I moved out to Vegas and started playing live.
So I mean, you kind of do play like an online guy a little bit with your aggression, and so you started playing online. How'd you build up your rolls to get to the point where you're playing in these uber high stakes cash games all the time? Then,
I was a pretty big winner online when I played.
Mm.
I did pretty good, but I've gone. I can tell you, I've been a millionaire and broke a few times in a week. So it's not. Okay,
hold on. Walk us through that. Because believe it or not, Viff, a lot of guys watching out here on YouTube, watching on Twitch, they haven't been millionaires before, and they certainly haven't been a millionaire broke and back to a millionaire in a week. So why don't you walk us through exactly how that happens?
I guess, I don't know. You wake up one day and you go to your box and you see like $1 million, and you go over there and you look around and you say, oh my God, there's like Sammy Farah playing. Or whatever else. So, you got $1 million in the box. You grab 500 and you go sit down at the poker table and you start playing with it. And all of a sudden you take a bad beat or two and that 500,000's gone. So now you go grab the other 500,000. You probably try to borrow 100,000 on top of it so you can sit with 600. Because if you double up, you want to be more than even. You don't want to.
Of course, yeah, of course.
You don't want to just play to get even at that point, right?
So like, what's the plan when you lose it though? So you lose it. How do you? You're broke now. Now what? How do you get back to that million point?
Well, fuck. First of all, you go sleep for a little bit, right? Because the only time you really sleep good is when you're broke. But I don't know. So I mean, I'll tell you a funny. Here's a good story. So I'm short on money, whatever else. I might be broke at the time, and I borrow $10,000, and I go and I take my $10,000. And I sit down at the 10-20 table at the Bellagio. And I take the whole $10,000 and I put it on the table. So, but you got to understand too at this time, right? Like if people 3-bet you, you could just fold. So it's really, really hard for somebody to stack you in a live game back then. It was you just always like I just always knew where I stood in the hand. Like I can make really good folds at spots. Like people just weren't tricky or over aggressive or anything like that. So sitting with your whole bankroll on the table was like whatever, they're just not getting it. It's just
okay.
It's not whatever. So you can, Sammy Farha says, I could stack them, but they could never stack me. And that's like a pretty true story in poker back then. So anyway, so I take my little bit of money and I play all night long. And I'm playing with Brian Rast. And it's about, I don't know, 10 o'clock in the morning. And Brian says, hey, I'm going to go play a satellite for a 5K tournament. They were having one of the 5K tournaments at the Bellagio before the 10K or the 25K or whatever they had then.
Okay.
And so he goes and plays the satellite, and he comes back and he plays a little bit, and he goes, I didn't do good. I don't know if I'm going to buy in or not. Yada 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 yada. So I said, Brian, here, I'll take half of you. And he says, all right. So he goes and registers the tournament. And now I got about, I don't know, 14,000 left. I said, fuck it, I'm going to go play in this tournament. So I take my money, I go pay my 5,000, I get in this tournament. So we played to the tournament, and a long story short, we end up 3-handed. Brian, this other guy.
Okay.
And we chopped the tournament 3-handed. And I'm like, all right. So I get I think it was like 160,000 I got at the time. So, I leave the tournament and I walk back into the high limit room at the Bellagio and I sit down at like 5,100 with 160,000 and says, hey, let's play poker, boys. So that's one of the times I'm sure I ran it up pretty good from there. But later that day, right, I'm talking to Brian, he goes, maybe I should have been a little more gambling. Do you think I should have taken all myself? I was like a little scared because I only have like 200,000. And I just didn't want to risk 5,000 of it myself. I says, all right, you're doing all right. Meanwhile, if I had like 10,000, I'd be looking to like put it all in there at the time. But whatever, I don't know. I always played above my means for the most part, and stuff like that. So, but money was just so easy to come by when I first came to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
There was just, everybody had money. There was new tourists coming in. I mean, guys would come in and lose like 40 or 50,000 playing 10-20 no limit or 25-50 no limit. And it was just, there was good games all the time. And then even the good players that would come in or stuff like that were horrible.
So I guess that changes over the years. Now it's not like that anymore.
No, now it's not like that anymore. But like 2 or 3 years ago, I quit playing poker at all. So I just started playing like 4 months ago again. But even when I quit, it wasn't all that good. But when I quit, I was also playing 3-600 in Ivy's room at Aria. So I didn't really see how bad it was out in the rest of the casino. But now that I come back, it's even worse.
So why'd you quit playing for so long?
Doctor says it wasn't good for me. I wanted to move to San Diego with my girl and try to live like a somewhat normal life.
So what were you doing with yourself? I mean, you go from playing these uber high stakes, having these massive swings all the time, to being a domesticated couple living in San Diego, which, I mean, I lived in San Diego before. It's a great place to live, but it seems like, I mean, how do you replace that in your life then?
I mean, I guess you don't really. I mean, it's just different. You have different priorities. I mean, I am 40 years old now. I've done like, I mean, if I died today, I would say that I've had some of the best pussy in the world. I've had some of the best parties in the world. I mean, there's like, on my bucket list, there's just not too many things that I haven't done. So it's like, all right, so what do you really want out of life now? You know, do you want these like empty relationships, or do you just want to keep fucking strippers and porn stars or whatever else? And do you want to, you know, drink and party all the time, which is depressing. If you really think about it, right? Like, you go out and party, and like, for me, I'd always have buyer's remorse. So I'd wake up the next day and I'd have this hangover and I'd feel all shitty. And like, I know I was having a good time at the time, but like, you start thinking about it when you're hungover and you're fucking puking and you're dry heaving and you're trying to drink water. And then you just like go like, what the fuck did I do? Right. And now when you do that like 5 days a week for like 5 years, it just kind of gets old.
I can see that. I mean, you know, I had a good run. I've had a long run now, and maybe not quite to the extent you're doing 5 days a week. I mean, I don't know what's happening in these 5 days, if there's extracurricular activities being involved here and stuff like that. I'm not sure, but I think it does get old after a while, especially hook up with so many girls. You know, it's these empty, as you mentioned, empty relationships, these things that you feel like you're not getting much out of. At some point in time, I think everybody kind of gets past that phase at some point in time, but it sounds like you hit that phase about a couple of years ago, and you decided, but I guess so you cut out poker completely because the doctor recommends it, and you just
it was even before that, like 5 years ago or something. I was just like, hey, you know, I'd wake up and I'd be depressed because like I just didn't feel that I had like any sense of accomplishment in my life or whatever else. So I'd have this money, and like the money didn't make me happy. Like, I don't know, but I'd still keep doing the same things that I was doing. And it was like, I don't know, it's made things okay at the time, but like, it just didn't make me feel okay after so long. So and then I met this really, really super cool girl. This like the best girl in the world for me. And I just decided to really pack it in.
Wow. So you meet your girl, you've been with her now for a while, and I mean, what do you do before you were starting playing poker again? So you're in San Diego. Are you working? Are you hanging out? Are you trying to hide things from, you know, like having fun? Like what's been like your activities down there? Going to the beach, surfing? I mean, you might be a surfer.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if like I could really work. I mean, like I'm fat and 40 and like stubborn and I'm probably unemployable. Like but anyways, I just hung out. We did a lot of I don't know, like fucking, I was retired. Like, what does a retired person do in San Diego?
You're retired. You're officially retired at 38 years old.
Yeah, that was when I had money.
Oh, so has that changed, and that's why you started playing poker again then?
I mean, it didn't really change, but I lost a lot of money in real estate and some other things. So that's part of the reason I'm playing poker again, for sure.
No, that makes sense. What do you? So there's been some sightings like these Viffer. Like, dude, the fucking people love you, man. There's Viffer sightings at Ocean's 11. Apparently, they've been seeing you there.
Yeah, I mean that's basically like the only game in town there. So I'd go up there and we'd play like 40-80 limit mix games. Basically what I went up there to play. Mm-hmm. And sometimes before the game started, I play like 5-5 PLO or 5-5 no limit, or whatever else like that. And it takes a little while. So when I first started playing, like I was absolutely lost. I had no idea where I stood in hands, and you just don't have like, you're just at a stroke. It's like a guy like going from like shooting free throws like Stephen Curry, you kind of feel like DeAndre Jordan. up there. So you don't, it takes a little while to get your form back to. I don't know. But
so now are you kind of settling back into the old Viffer, to the old ability, to that ability to have this?
I don't know if I saw that. So people have made me like pretty big bets that I couldn't beat like the normal limit, no limit games at like the Bellagio, like the 10 or the 25-50. And I'm like, whatever. I don't know. So I've been playing a little bit there. And I've been playing a lot of like a mixed game at Bellagio. They play like 81-60 or 200-400. So that's basically what I've been playing a lot of mostly.
Thomas Slobel on YouTube says, wow, to open up YouTube to find out that Viffer is on Joey's podcast is nearly the same feeling as having a model knocking on your door, Poppy.
So what is this Poppy stuff?
That's what they call me, man. They call me Poppy. That's what they say.
Big Poppy.
Well, excuse me?
They call you Big Poppy.
Well, they don't call Big Poppy. I mean, they could. Why not? I feel like any variation of the word Poppy is totally in line to call me. Yeah, I think so.
All right, you got it.
Sure. Okay, so all right. So you're back playing poker now. You've been playing at the Oceans. What about Vegas? You go back to Vegas ever at all, or are you trying to stay away from Vegas?
No. So I just moved back to Vegas like 4 months ago.
Okay. So move back to Vegas. What have you been playing out there in Vegas then?
I just told you, Joey.
Whoa! Oh, I thought that was at Ocean's 11. I thought that was before when you got started.
Ocean's 11, like the biggest game is 5-5.
I was a little confused. I was like, "That's different than Ocean's 11." I don't know. Maybe he started a fucking game while you're there. I wasn't sure.
No. So let me just tell you what Ocean's 11 is, right?
I thought you were playing 48 Ocean's 11. I'm like, when I was there was like 10-20's biggest game. I didn't know, like, okay, I got to take his word for it.
No. It was like kind of like a once a week kind of thing. They had this game there.
Okay.
So
now you're back and playing. Now you're back in Vegas full time. So I thought you were still living in San Diego here.
No, Joey, you got to pay attention, buddy. You're slacking on me here.
I'm not slacking. Come on, man. Now this is all right. Back in Vegas. All right, fine. Now I got to readjust. I've been literally thinking you've been living in San Diego for the past since we started the podcast now. So now it makes more sense. All right, playing at Bellagio. I guess is the goal to get back up playing those uber high stakes, or is the goal to just?
I can go play the Uber High Stakes if I wanted. I mean, it's I really don't have the money, but I wouldn't have problems finding the money to go play. But it's I mean, the swings are big, and it's at some point it's like, do you really want the stress and all this other stuff of it? It's I don't know. It's so when I was playing at Ocean's 11, right? So a professional player that has been around for like forever was playing there, and I was talking to him, and he goes, "Yeah, I only come here with 3,000 a day, and if I lose it, I go home." And I'm like laughing and joking, and he's like, "No, that's really what I do." And I played 1,000, 2,000 with this guy, and so I see him there a couple times, and he always wins, so I never really noticed it. But we joke about it, and I'd say, "Oh, that 3,000's doing really good, yada yada yada." So one day he loses the 3,000, he gets up and he goes home, and I'm like, "Wow," So the next day he goes, "No, I'm serious." And I go, "Well, why?" He goes, "Well, after losing like this 3,000, I'm not really happy with the decisions that I make, and it really limits stress and variance in my life." And I thought about it, and I'm like, wow, this, that's not really the worst thing in the world to have that kind of self-control at the time. And I saw his point of view or why he was doing it, and it made sense to me in a way. So at some point, it's like, what do you really want out of life? And that's, I don't know. Like, I don't really know if I need the stress and all this other stuff.
It's interesting. So I guess now you're past everything. So you're past the point of wanting to have those crazy moments. You're past the point of wanting to have those massive.
I have a kid.
Yeah.
I have a wife, and I'm on my way out. I am a has been, a never been, a could have been, should have been. I don't know. Like, I'm 1 foot in the grave, and that's it.
I just figured out what it was. I've never done a podcast where the person's not looking at me. So normally I focus on the person's face and I'll stare right at it and I take their words in. And now I'm looking at the camera.
But I am looking at you.
Yeah, you're looking at me, but I'm not looking at you. So when you talk, it's like I'm trying. It's easier to focus on what the person says, but now it's like you just look at the camera. You're not looking at anything. So you're trying to look at the camera and then take the words in from here. And that's maybe that's why I missed this whole the Vegas thing.
That's all right, Joey. It's poker. My poker career is over. It's really the last thing you want to know about me because it's done. I might come out of retirement if they do like high stakes poker or poker after dark or something like that. But
I feel like it's coming back. I mean, with Poker Central, they're going to have some other high roller cash games and stuff like that. It'll be back there for sure. It can't ever go away.
Yeah, I don't know. Once I guess, but I don't know. To me, poker's dead. It really is. It's just dead. It's not fun anymore. You go sit down, right? So I go sit down in a no limit game, and everybody takes like 20 seconds to fold. Where like you knew they were folding as soon as they got their hand. Like it's just stupid anymore. But like I thought, like you didn't really do these. Poker, like I don't know. This is like talking too much poker. I thought we were gonna talk like basketball or I don't fucking
shit, man. Let's get into it, baby. Listen, the people want it, Viffer. You gotta understand, man. The people want to know what you're up to. They love you, man. I'm telling you, man. It's not an exaggeration. They love you, man. They love following along. They love seeing you play on TV. That's what they want to know. So I got to give the people a little bit of update on what you're doing. And now let's get into something that we really came here for, which is some Viffer stories, man. All right. So let's get into some Viffer stories. So obviously a lot of people in the chat want to ask about this 2 months, 2 million thing. 2 months, 2 million. And for those who don't know, it's a TV show back in the day with the Deuces Crack guys. And there's an infamous scene where they're playing against Viffer online. And apparently they pick up a timing tell on Viffer where whenever he bets a certain speed, he's bluffing, or he bets pot, he's bluffing. So I guess from your perspective, like, was that true? Was that accurate? What exactly really went down there?
So here's what really happened, right? So we're playing, and I'm like really, really crushing the guy. And I'm drinking and having fun, and I'm up a lot. And at one point he says, hey, can you transfer me some money so I can keep playing? I said, sure, no problem. And we take a break. And I'm playing and everything else like that. Now I'm pretty drunk. And I come back on there, and I'm just like firing away. And I don't know if there was a timing tell or me just being like, I don't know. I was up a lot, and I was super drunk, and I was like, fuck it. You know what I mean? And then, I don't know, but they edit the show, so it's not really, the way they edit it was like kind of bullshit. They edited it where, just to make them look good and me look really bad. Like, I don't know, it was stupid. So they didn't show me like owning his soul. So they just showed me losing at one point. Or, we also filmed the show where me and Ansky played heads up for, 6 hours, and they filmed it, and they didn't put it on the TV show. So the way they edited the show wasn't really the way things happened, I guess.
That makes sense, I guess. From their perspective, they want to show the guy's looking good, and they kind of did make it seem like, all right, you bet pot. They made it seem like, this guy's like a big fucking idiot or something. He's just betting pot. He always bets pot. He's bluffing. Now he's just abusing you. When I think like smart people would realize that probably isn't exactly how it went. It wouldn't make much sense for. I mean, I guess people had those kind of massive tells back in the day, but it seemed a little hard to believe that would have been exactly what was going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I might have just smashed the pot button a few times back then. Like, I don't fucking pot it. I don't here, just ship.
Meanwhile, people want to know about the dye in the grease fire chat. So is this something that you made up at the dye in the grease fire? This DIAGF saying that people, I think they still use it in Poker World. So is that something that you said in the chat then?
So we were playing, right, and I'm like, all right, I'm done with this. And so I say, all right, we'll go play 500 and 1,000. And he comes and sits down, And he's like, yo, I can't play this big. Like, he posts his blind, and I just ship 100,000 on him. And he sits out. And I'm like, fuck it, you know. And he said something, and I'm like, dying of grease fire, and I went out and got fucked up. I was like, all right, I'm done with this. And I went out and partied, and I was like, whatever. And that was that. But the way so like I've always been telling people I hope they die in a grease fire. That was like kind of like one of the things I would always tell people.
Mm-hmm.
Or when I was like playing poker online, when I was about to quit, I'd always say, you know, I'm quitting, the hooker's here, and I'd quit or whatever. So that's just one of the things I always told people.
So you're big into the hooker girl grind, the HGG. It sounds like that's been your thing.
Not really.
Not really?
No. I mean, like strippers or whatever. Like, fucking all girls are hookers, though. I mean, one way or another, you're fucking paying, right? Especially in Vegas. So it's like, yeah, I guess, whatever. Hookers, fucking cocktail waitresses, models. Well, I mean, it's one thing or another, right? If they want a bottle of tequila, they want a line of Coke, they want a $100 bill. Like, whatever. Either way, you're paying.
What did they prefer out of those three? What were they into? Kind of, were you meeting the drunk girls, the drug addict girls, the ecstasy girls, the girls?
It's, you know what I mean? It's like, well, it all depends on if they had the tequila yet or not.
No, that makes sense. I mean, I found in my time that the girls that like Coke are typically the crazier ones. The girls that like ecstasy are the more fun ones. And the girls that like Coke are just the fucking crazy ones. So.
They are the crazy ones, right?
They really are, honest to God, dude. I don't get to talk about this very many podcast guests. Normally get the poker guys on. They're like, you know, they don't really engage in these extracurricular activities over time. So I guess, did you find that
I guess they didn't like the equity involved in it or whatever. It wasn't EV.
It's certainly not plus EV. It's certainly not plus EV. I mean, I don't know. Do you feel like in retrospect, would you have maybe not done that and maybe maximized your EV more at poker, or would you have done it the same exact way?
So, like, I calculated it, and I think I probably spent $2 million going out into the clubs in Vegas over the years, like Tao, Trist, XS, all of those. So it might have helped maximize my poker EV, but I don't know if it was like worth the money that I spent. And so the reason why is, so like I played good poker when I was drunk. I mean, I really did. I was a superstar. But I don't know. Everybody thought I was really, really crazy because I'd always be fucked up, or I'd always have like girls, or I'd be on drugs, like whatever it was. So, you know, everybody thought I was like really, really bad, and they'd be like, oh, come play. Oh, all right, fuck it, I'll go play. And so being wild and crazy was like negative EV on the money that I was spending, but like was like positive EV unexpected. I don't fucking, whatever these words are, fucking, I don't know. Like, it was good in some ways and bad in the other.
So it sounds like, I mean, are there any crazy stories that have happened recently? Obviously, you've been in the relationship now. Or are the crazy stories done and we'd have no recent Viffer stories?
I mean, the recent Viffer stories aren't so fun. We got some, I don't know, fucking... like crazy Viffer stories to me are like normal life, to where like, so I went to rehab, right? Like, so right before I did all this, I checked myself into rehab, and so I go to rehab, and this is like right before I met this girl and decided to move to San Diego and all that stuff. So I go check myself into rehab in Arizona, and basically what happened was I had one of these nights where I was out for 3 days straight. I wake up with my whole neck tattooed, and I'm having buyer's remorse. I'm totally miserable. And I said, fuck it, I'm going to rehab. So I wake up, and I jump in my car, and I drive to the Meadows in Arizona. And I get there at like 6 a.m., and I'm like knocking on the door, and they're like, you can't come in. I'm like, listen, I'm fucked up. I need help. And they're like, you can't just walk into this place. Now this place is like one of the top rehabs in the country or something. Like, it's like right up there with Promises and all that other stuff. And they're like, you gotta have appointments, and doctor's got to send you here and your insurance. I'm like, I brought cash. Let me in. And they're like, no, you can't do this. And they're like, you need to have this, you got to be interviewed at least. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, I just want to be in there. Like, all right, we'll set you up for an interview at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. And I'm like, fuck it. So I almost just drove back home at that point. But I'm like, no. So I go get in there, and so there's two good stories from rehab, right? So when you go in there, you get this name tag, and it's colored. So it's like yellow, green, blue, red, or whatever else. So I get put in this room, and you got like 10 guys, and it's like your homeroom, and you're telling these stories. And I'm in there with this guy from Chicago, and he's in there because he's like a gambling addict, and he's lost all his money betting on horses and stuff like that. So I'm in there, right? And I'm like, they're trying to get me to tell stories and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right. So I'm telling these stories about like how I win all this money and I go spend it at clubs and stuff like that. And you see this guy just giving me this death stare. And I'm like, no. I'm like, all right, sorry. So they tried to convince me that I had a gambling problem. And I'm like, listen, lady, I don't have no gambling problem. And I'm like, nobody has gambling problems. Some people have winning problems, but for me, like, that's never been a problem. So this guy just totally hates me, and the whole time I'm there, he gives me this stare. So then they have these other guys in there. They have this, it's for sex addicts. And it's actually a real thing. They have these sex addicts, right? And there'd be guys in there that would, like, jack off, like, 56 times a day. And
what? 56?
Or there was guys that couldn't stop cheating on their wife or whatever else. So I'm sitting there in the cafeteria and I'm talking to these guys and I'm telling these stories about hookers and drugs in Vegas and yada, 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 yada. And these sex addicts sat at their own little table over in the corner, right? And finally one guy gets up and he slams the table with his hand as loud as could be. Over and he goes, listen, you gotta shut the fuck up. He goes, you're killing us over here. You're killing us. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So that was that. And
what happened after that?
I mean, so obviously I had to quit telling the stories. It was I mean, but these guys, if you would have seen these guys, they were like fucking fiending. They were best.
So did you make it to rehab? What happened? How'd that go?
So it was like a 5-week thing, and I made it through like 3 weeks, and I says, hey, you know what? Peace out. I'm out of here. And it was, I mean, I never I never really had like a drug problem. I don't know. It was just like, you know what I equated to? I equated to like a life refresher course. So you go through and you have like 35 years of bad habits or all this other stuff, and they just kind of like give you like a reality check. So like I was talking to a counselor there, and I'm telling her these stories about my life, and I'm like, well, this is my reality. And she's like, well, that's not the reality of the world. And I'm like, all right, well, whatever, you know what I mean? And then it like kind of makes you like think about things. And I don't know. It's more of like a life refresher course more than anything. And like I never walked out of there saying, no, I'm not going to do drugs, or no, I'm not going to drink, or anything like that. And I mean, I probably like had a beer like as soon as I got home, but I've never been out of control since then.
Wow. So rehab, you drove to rehab, you go there. Wow. Let me see some other things we got here on the story. Because people decided to ask about this story, All right, I got to ask this one from my buddy Marcus. So my buddy Marcus, lives in San Diego. He said, "Hey, he said, listen, me and Viffer made the great rise a couple times in our lives." He said, ask him about his story. Hold on a second. Let me just make sure. Hold on. Let me make sure I get the name right. Just hold on.
Hold on. Let me give me 2 minutes. I'll tell this story because it's really a good story.
Okay.
But it's the name's Lana.
Alana, correct, yeah.
All right.
Quick shout outs while we wait. Who we got in the chat, man? We got a lot of people here. What's up, guys? Sorry, Viffer's got no camera today. I normally people got the camera on, but no cam today for Viffer. You gotta look at my face the entire time. Who we got? Let's see. Wim Rose Boom Puppy. What up, buddy? Alexandre, Cubs fan, my buddy Daniel D'Agostino. What up, Daniel? What's up, brother? Morgan, Andrew Peters, Lawrence Essick. I saw. Who else I saw? Alex out there earlier. Alex Wong. What's up, Alex? My buddy Dan Fu. What's up, buddy?
All right, Joey. So here's the Lana story.
All right, let's hear it.
So it's my birthday, and we decide to go to Jet in Vegas. And Marcus is dating this crazy stripper. Her name is Wendy. I remember her name.
Okay, shout out to Wendy.
Chick, too. Love to suck dick. And because I think she sucked like 10 guys that I know's dick. But whatever, Marcus loved her. And he didn't really care how everybody else's dick tasted. And so whatever, So we go out on my birthday. And she comes to the club with us. And we meet her, and she brings this girl with her. And her name's Lana. So she was this blonde, big tits. She worked at the Rhino. Really, really super hot. So we're fucking partying. I'm half drunk, whatever else. And we get drunk, whatever, and we go back to my house, and I get a blowjob or whatever else. And I don't really remember. So whatever, it is what it is now. Sure. So we see the girl. She's working at the Rhino with Wendy and stuff. And we go out again, and we fucking mess around and whatever else. Like, the girl's kind of cool, but, like, something was just off or something. I don't know. Something just seemed weird about her. And so, like, over a week, like, this happens. And then, like, I'm like, Marcus, is this, like, no, it can't be. And then we're, like, kind of wondering, right? So now I quit fucking around with her. But, like, she's still working at the Rhino, right? And we're laughing. I'm like, Marcus, could this maybe be a guy? No. I'm like, fuck. Now, I'm telling you, like, this chick was hot, right? She was hot. She's working at the Rhino. And like, if anybody knows John at the Rhino, like, his girl's got to be fucking hot or he'd kick him out or whatever else. This was back when, like, the Rhino had all the hot girls. So, like, she was like an 8. Now she'd be like a 12 at the Rhino. But she was like a solid 8 back then. Okay. So I'm like, fuck, this is just something wrong. So Marcus is laughing at me, and then we're like, I'm like, fuck, Marcus. So he's looking at it, like, fuck. So he's like, well, maybe I'll ask Wendy. And so he asked Wendy, and Wendy's like, no, I don't think so. And then she swears up and down she don't know. And then all of a sudden, this girl just disappears. And, like, nobody ever hears from her again. So, like, there's, like, this possibility that this, like, bitch was a guy. And, like, fucking had us all tricked. And, like, I don't know. Like, the joke was kind of on me. But, I don't know. Like, that's the Wendy story. But, you, like, Marcus could probably tell it a little bit better. So, Marcus, I know you're listening. So, like, you could just type in all the parts that I missed. And, you could tell it, but, like, it was, like, kind of a scary moment in my life. Yeah, ask him.
So
get him on the phone.
Get him on the phone. I don't think we can call him up. I mean, I don't think we can. But that'd be a good. So we don't know if it's a guy or not. So that you're not sure.
No, I mean, like, there's a pretty good possibility. Like, I don't want to admit it, like, but, like, there was, like, at least, like, a 75% chance that I got, like, I don't know. But, like, the guy at the Rhino, the guy, John at the Rhino says, no. Wendy says, no. But, like, I'm pretty sure it was like, yes. Like, and Marcus is, like, pretty sure it's like, yes. But, like, I don't.
You didn't check it out? Maybe, like, see what was going on?
But at the point that, like, I kind of started asking and kind of figuring it out, like, I didn't really want to touch no more.
Man,
I mean, like, yeah, fucking, yeah, I don't really like fucking strippers. They could, like, suck my dick, and also, like, I'm not really, I'm not, like, really trying to fucking get no beat up pussy or nothing. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, but they could suck a dick.
So you didn't want to fuck the strippers? You just want to get blowjobs from the strippers?
Of course, I mean, like, you got to pick your spots. You don't. I don't know. Her ass was kind of big. I don't really remember.
So wait, why
Well,
not?
I guess
Why not have
Adam's
sex
apple
with
might
them
have.
too? I don't like what I think most guys out there when they're gonna try to have sex with the strippers. So you blowjob, but no sex though. You think that's the right strategy to have?
Well, so her ass was kind of big, right? And so like I'm this small fat guy and I got a little dick. So you got to have like these small tiny girls because they make your dick look bigger.
Sure.
Right? So it's like fucking you get a big girl, you can't really fuck her. Like then you look like you got a small dick.
Guys with small dicks out there, I mean, you probably already know that, but in case you didn't know that, now you know what to do.
You got to find the petite women that makes your dick look bigger.
So do the girls think it looks bigger too, or is it just like for your own self though?
Who cares what they think? Fuck, you're not. You know what I mean? If you ask them, they're gonna like you. Oh yeah, baby, you got the biggest dick I've ever seen. But like, they don't really look at it. Like you look down, and you're like, yeah, my dick's so big. Look at that small ass.
Dare I say, GT, man, you were living GTO before GTO was even a fucking word, Viff, man. You were, man. Okay, I like that approach. That's pretty. I guess some people are saying midgets. You got any midget? I mean, that might be a way. You look like a fucking giant, man. You look like a mandingo with a midget.
So here's a midget story, right?
Sure, we all got one.
So me and Dan Blitz are gonna do this TV show, and we're gonna race cars on this TV show. And the guy wants the guy that was doing it wants to film about our life. So the guy goes down to Tampa, Florida, to film about Dan's life down there, and at his big house with all his guns and stuff. And when I tell you this guy's got a big house in Tampa, he got a big house in Tampa.
Okay.
So the guy goes down there, right? And Dan's like, yo, I want to like film me fucking midgets on the bar and drinking and doing blow. Like, we want this TV show. He had this idea for how the TV show was going to go. And the director's like, yo, let's have dinner and with these schoolgirls and, you know, talk about. And Dan's like, go fuck yourself. He's like, I want to fuck strippers and do coke on the bar and like have a good TV show, and you want to do like a soap opera. So needless to say, the fucking producer got told to go fuck himself, and no midgets got fucked on the bar.
That the only midget story you got, or what?
I mean, that's like the only midget story I've got.
I mean, I would think from the strategy that you're talking about, a midget could be like, that could be something that's could have been a good thing.
Yeah, fucking, I don't know. Something about midgets, huh? Fucking, I don't know.
MG midget girl grind. Listen, I'm not a big fan of that one either. Got to be. I don't mean to discriminate. Listen, I don't want the midgets coming after me on Twitter and saying, "Hey, you know, fuck us." Like, calm down, midgets. But you know, I feel you on that one. Chris says, I think Viffer should be your co-host from now on. Yeah, that'd be a fun one. My buddy MD says, ask Viffer who has a bigger combined weight of women they've slept with lifetime, you or him. I'm gonna go with Viffer, man. Viffer. I mean, I feel like you ever keep track of how many girls that you've been with maybe over time? Is that something you think about? Something you worry about at all?
No. I mean, I don't worry about it. Like, fucking, if you're not sleeping with girls, then you got something to worry about, right?
No, I think that's pretty true.
Yeah, fucking nothing to worry about. You're doing all right.
That's true.
I've always been an overachiever in the girl department.
But when women ask you how many girls you've been with, what do you say, like 13, or what's like your normal go-to answer? You say like I don't know.
I just want to be with one more, baby, and you're it.
Okay, I'm gonna try that one. I just want to be with one more, baby, and you're it.
Yeah, that's it. How many girls you been with? Hopefully just one more.
Okay. I like that. Dare I say GTO? Gus P wants to know any more Blitz stories out there, any more Dan Bilzerian stories. Obviously, he's like this big guy on Instagram. I feel like you could have been Dan Bilzerian. You could have done what he's doing. Like, it sure sounds like it.
I'll tell you. So we're out at the club one night and we're drinking and stuff like that. And the club promoter says, hey, we're going to Cabo. Why don't you guys come? And I'm like, all right, you know, and me and Dan are partying and stuff. And I'm at the fucking Rhino, and I get this girl, and I'm like, yo, we're going to Cabo tomorrow. And she's like, all right, let's go. So I'm like, Dan, come on, you're going. I'm like, just find one of these bimbos, and we'll go to Cabo in the morning. And so we don't find a girl, but we all go to Cabo, right? So we fly down to Cabo, and we're with these guys, and we get there and Dan's fucking all fucked up and he's doing Xanax and he's sniffing Xanax everywhere else like this. And we're having a good time. And so we're staying at this hotel and there's like one room that's like the daddy room, like the fucking presidential suite. And obviously we couldn't get it because the club promoter already had it. So he's got the big room with all the jacuzzis and all this stuff up there, right? And so all the girls end up going there. So we end up going to downtown Cabo one night, and Dan's fucking partying and having all the girls hooting and hollering around him, and we're having a good time. And a couple of the guys get jealous. So we're getting back, and we're taking a cab back to the car, and some of the guys are like fucking pushing them, and hey, calm down, because they're fighting over the girls. So we go back to the fucking place and we're upstairs in the room partying and they kind of kick us out. And we're like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you know what I mean? So we get into a fight and whatever else. So we go back downstairs and stuff like that. Make a long story short, the girl I'm with ends up with Dan. And I end up pounding salt. And I think they take like a private jet home, and I fly back on Southwest.
Bang bang!
Yeah, fucking blitz.
Yeah, cuckold, kid. I didn't know what that's called. Cuckolding when your buddy takes your girl and fucks her, and you go home on Southwest. Man, is that
so
you?
I got that. That's one of the blitz stories that I remember.
Damn, man.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
You ever get him back for that?
No, I don't know. Dan's I don't know. Me and Dan are friends, so I've known him for before. I known him when he was Blitz Force, not Dan Blitz.
Wow. I mean, why they make you fly back on Southwest like that, man? Why couldn't you go on the jet?
Yeah, fucking what? When you lose the girl, you lose the fucking flight privileges, I guess.
How do you lose the, like? How does that happen? So you're with the. How does she like what happens when she's here and then she goes there? Like
she felt bad for him. She wanted to go hang out with him, and like all of a sudden, she just like he was having a better party than I was. I don't know. I'm sure I was like fucking around with other girls or fucking doing drugs or all fucked up. I mean, I don't really remember like exactly what happened, but all I remember is like walking in his room and like her legs are in the air, and I'm like, all right, whatever. And then that was just kind of it. I was like, fuck.
What you go to sleep after that? You go like where do you walk around contemplating life? Like what's the process like after that?
I mean, I went to sleep. It was fucking probably like late at night, early in the morning. Like you don't really give a fuck. It's like I mean, it's not like you were trying to marry the bitch.
Just one more, baby. I mean, yeah, it's true.
Right on to the next one. So, I mean, it's like a girl I knew for like 3 days.
Easy come, easy go.
Yeah, fucking whatever. I mean, I'm sure she was like mother material and all that other stuff. But
I feel you on that one. Okay. So that's our Dan Bilzerian. I mean, it sounds like you, yeah, I can't imagine that the stories you and Bilzerian got. But so you mentioned drugs a lot. What was your preferred drug of choice? It sounds like, I don't know. I couldn't, I'm not sure.
I mean, I did like a lot of ecstasy and Molly and like Adderall, like a lot of Adderall, like, I don't know, but mostly Adderall to play poker. And like ecstasy and fucking pills, like I don't know, whatever. I mean, I never really liked coke or anything like that. It was like always have your nose all fucked up and like fucking I don't know, coke bad. Coke make me feel dirty, but girls love it. Like I mean, so you'd always have like I'd have a little bit of coke in my safety deposit box at the Bellagio. I'd keep some at the house. I mean, you'd always have it around, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't a.
I met a lot of girls over time that they're like, yeah, I don't really like drugs that much, but like I'll do a little coke once in a while. And I'm just like, wait, what? What do you mean you don't like drugs? We do a little coke once in a while. Like it's just like a casual thing. It's I've never really been too much into the I've certainly had my experiences with ecstasy and something like ketamine. I've had a lot of fun over the time, but the cocaine thing I never really. I don't know. I just never. I feel like drinking. You kind of feel similar if you drink, but I guess the hangover might not be the same. But
you do a little fucking bump when you're drinking, and it kind of wakes you up. Meanwhile, I did ketamine one time. Right now, you hear all these stories about ketamine, how you like get in this K-hole or whatever else.
You kind of once, yeah.
And I tell these guys I've never done it before, and we're on a boat out in Lake Mead, and they're like shoving it at me, like, and like all I could think about is like me sinking to the bottom of the lake, all fucked up on this. I'm like, get this shit away from me. So I don't know. It was like,
you didn't try it.
no, I ended up trying it when we got back to the hotel, and it was like pretty cool, but like I don't know. I was like scared because I've always heard bad stories about it.
Yeah, if you do too much of it, you get to that scary point. But whatever, you know, I don't want to get people on there trying ketamine now. Don't try ketamine, guys. I think it's against the law, and I'm retired from that now. So, but don't go down that route, guys. Let's see what else. Ask Viffer about hanging out with Rick Solomon in the big LA games.
I don't know. Rick's got his own stories. You got to get those. You got to. I don't. Rick would tell all the stories himself, but I mean, I've had some good times with Rick, and I don't really want to be the one to tell his stories.
Well, they sound like they were fun.
Yeah, some of my best times were with him.
Let's see. Ask about the Jungle Man Durrrr prop bet about a bet with Jungle Man. Yeah, I remember something like that in the forums a long time ago.
So it's all about the Durrrr challenge, right? Right. So, and you know, everybody knows about it. So I made these bets with him, and everybody makes these bets, right? This is going to be a long conversation if you really want to have it. And I don't. You have it on your show a lot, or I've heard some stuff on it, and I have my thoughts on it, and everybody else has their thoughts on it. So if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. Yeah, we can talk. So I guess people don't know there's the Durrrr. I mean, everybody kind of knows Durrrr versus Jungle Man. We did a challenge a long time ago. People play side bets on both sides, and Durrrr never finished the fucking challenge. It's been like 4 or 5 years. Right. Okay. And instead of Durrrr coming out and say, hey, you know, I'm not going to finish this challenge, like I did it as a publicity stunt, or I did it as a advertisement for Full Tilt. When Black Friday was over and he lost his $1.5 million or $2 million sponsorship with Full Tilt, and the whole poker economy went to shit, you know, instead of him saying, hey, you know, I'm not going to finish this anymore, he strung the poker world on about it. Right. And, like, to me, when all this stuff went down, first of all, like, when everything that happened, like, there's a really good chance at the time that, like, nobody was ever getting their money back. Like, if PokerStars doesn't buy Full Tilt out and pay all the players, like, nobody gets their money back. And the poker economy for those 2 years was, like, horrible, and it was only going to get worse. So then I have these side bets out there. And, you know, at one point I says, hey, guys, listen, I don't want to free roll you, and I'm not getting free rolled. I says, no matter what happens, if I win, I'm not paying. Or if I win, I'm not getting paid. And if I lose, I'm not paying. Like, this is just over. It is what it is. And, like, I just feel that if the shoe was on the other foot, that, like, and I went to these guys and I tried to collect, I would have no chance collecting. Like, there, you know, people have gone broke, or some of them have gone broke, or some people would be saying, like, I'm not paying, or whatever else it is. So I don't want to get free rolled, and I don't want to free roll people. And so we had these big discussions on these forums. And at one point, I bet Jungle Man $50,000. I says, and we were going to bet on what Matchbook would say about it. And I told them we bet $50,000 that Matchbook would tell him that there's no bet, the bet's over. And he says, all right, bet $50,000. I says, go ahead. 2 days later, he comes back to me and he says, I don't want to bet no more. So you mean you called Matchbook and found out you couldn't win, and now you don't want to bet? He goes, well, no, I just don't want to bet no more. And I'm like, all right. So then everybody, like, gangs up on me. Like, all these people that bet on Jungle Man are all, like, coming at me like you're a scumbag. They're, like, trying to shame me. And I'm like, listen, you guys are all fucking crazy. So we go back and forth, and I end up making a bet with Z Justin. And we're going to bet $300,000 on what a judge would say. Or we were going to hire a mediator, some private mediators here in Vegas. And they wrote up all these stipulations and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, fine, let's bet 300,000. So I give him the list of mediators, and I says, all right, pick, or I've got these picked. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, no, I want to pick different mediators. They want to charge us too much and stuff like that. So I'm like, listen, guys, let's just bet. We're just going to bet on what these people say. And so, they would be like, all right. And then when it came time to it, it was like, no bet. And then, like, we were going to bet on, like, what certain high-stakes gamblers were going to pay. And then it was just like, every time, it's like, all right, guys, here's my money. I want to bet on this. And instead of them taking my money from this bet, they just want to keep, like, shaming me or, like, saying, oh, my God, it's so immoral. Like, you guys made this bet. You have to finish it. And I'm like, dude, you guys are fucking crazy. And, like, so, like, one of the things that I think about, right, there's this Ari or some Foxwood friend from online. And I don't know if you remember him or not, but he was part of
kind of on the podcast before, yeah.
Okay,
Ariel.
so yeah, Ariel. So, and I'm not trying to, like, put him out there, but so Black Friday comes and he decides to go back to school. And he wants to go be this lawyer, right, which is great. Hey, I support it. So now he's probably not a winning poker player, and he probably doesn't have a bunch of money now. And that's just like a fair assumption that I make to myself when I'm saying this. So now he has these bets out there to where, like, he could lose like 200,000. Now, the guy's studying school to be a lawyer. Like, he probably doesn't have all this money. So if the shoe was on the other foot, and at this point I come up to him and I say, yo, you owe 200,000. Hey. Well, first of all, like, 200,000 poker money back then is like $1 million today. It's just the type of money is different. So now I go to this kid and I say, hey, kid, I know you've got like $1 million in debt because you just got out of law school, but you owe me like 200,000 because you lost this bet from 6 years ago. We collect. And he's like, so I make these things. So I ask him, and we're talking about it, and he's like, oh, no, you're wrong. And I'm like, all right, I'm wrong. And he's like, well, this is why you're wrong. And I says, all right, well, listen, how about this? You're going to law school. I'm like, well, could you argue the other side to where I'm right? And then he thinks about it, and, like, I've never heard from him again. But, so, like, to me, like, once Black Friday comes and, like, so, like, Black Friday was, so anyways, when Tom did this challenge, it was a promotion for himself because he was making like $2 million a year from Full Tilt or whatever else it was. Like, they weren't playing it on Poker Stars, they were playing it on Full Tilt.
Right.
It was more of a Full Tilt promotion. So Black Friday comes, everybody's, there's a good chance the Jungle Man could have been broke. He could have gone broke, and then he wouldn't have been able to pay. So it's like a big free roll. So everybody that's on the winning side right now wants to shame everybody that's on the losing side. But if it was reversed, it would be kind of the same way. So, and if I was in their position, right, I would, like, do whatever I could to try to get paid.
Right.
But I really wouldn't expect it. Like, realistically, like, you can't really expect to get paid. So, like, at what point, like, are you, like, so do they want people to, like, be liable for like, when does it end? If the 20 years from now, like, when is this, like, over with? And like, the only problem I see with this Durrrr Challenge match is, like, Tom hasn't come out and said, hey, listen, I don't play online poker anymore. I don't feel like, it's just like, I'm not finished, like, whatever. It's like, it's a different environment now. I couldn't play for 2 years. I decided to go a different, like, you just can't hold me to this bet with everything that's gone on. And I wish Tom would just come out and tell everybody to fuck off.
Well, I think he's kind of done that. He's kind of told everybody to fuck off by not saying anything now for about 5 years. I mean, he's had these, like, stories for a couple of years where he might play this, might do that, but nothing ever happens. So essentially, he has told everyone to go fuck themselves by not saying anything at all.
Right, but people need to, like, fucking wake up and say, hey, guys, you know what? Yeah, I mean, it's over because people just keep bringing it up. Like, right. I mean, it's just stupid. Like, I mean,
But you can understand from other people's perspective, the people that are following along with this. You know, I think so. You have these bets, and Durrr's up a lot of, or Durrr's down a lot of money. I mean, it's from where the bet stands at. It's probably, even if it did occur now, it went whenever. I mean, like, it's not going to. If this is completely hypothetical, but if it did resume, there's a very large chance that Durrrr would not win the challenge. So,
of course,
you know, I can understand like people having some viewpoint on there. Obviously, you know, for Jungle Man, he's got a lot of side bets with people, and you know, he feels like he should be paid for these things because he's up money. So it's like, well, what can you really do about it? So if you decide not to.
But if the shoe was on the other foot and he was losing, how could other people get paid? First of all, half the people that he has bets with or I have bet with are broke. Or they're not in the poker community anymore or whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, literally, like half of them. You know, people that had money then don't have money now, and whatever else it is. It's just been too long.
That's true. I mean, I can definitely see your side when you put it like that. And it's honestly, I didn't really know too much about this story, so I don't really know these specifics. I really didn't follow along when this was happening. I was grinding all day, trying to become Supernova Elite, so I wasn't paying attention to any of this. So I don't know too much about the specifics of it, but I mean, from the way you talk about it, the way that I can definitely see both sides of the situation. Obviously, as you mentioned, they're going to try to get paid any way they can. That's just how it goes. That's how it works. So, and I mean, from the other side of things, you probably not want to get paid. And I think some people would pay because they feel like their reputation might be ruined or might be something like that. But from your perspective, have you seen anything like that happen with yourself, or is it pretty much just the same as it's always been?
I mean, it's the same, but people are just trying to shade people into. I mean, first of all, half the people are like trolls and just like to bring up drama. You know what I mean? They have nothing. I don't know. It's a fucked up situation, but like, I'm just tired of hearing about it. And you know, to the point to like where some guy came up to me at Bellagio like 4 days ago, and he's like, "Yo, we have this Durrrr challenge bet," and I'm like, "Who are you?" And he's, "Well, I think I made the bet with you under this screen name at this time." He goes, "But my name's Rick, but I used this name when we made the bet." He goes, "What do you want to do about this?" And I'm like, "You could fuck off." Like, I mean, like if I was winning, would you be coming up to me and saying, "Yo, I owe you this money, let me pay you"? Like, would that ever happen?
I don't think so. Has that happened? I mean, I don't think so.
So how the fuck am I supposed to pay these people when I can never get paid if the shoe was on the other foot?
Listen, I see your side of things. You know, I don't necessarily, I can't argue that against that point because I can understand where you're coming from. I'm sure one of the professional arguers, the professional debaters, and in the poker world can kind of argue both sides. But
we have argued it. So we've argued it. And so, like, my answer to this is, let's just bet on it. And like, they want to argue that they'll bet on it until it's time to put the money up, and then they shame you and then they disappear. You know, so it's I don't know, it's just a weird situation. But that's the Durrrr challenge story.
Fucking Durrrr, fucking the Tom Dwan shuffle, man. The Durrrr.
Right, just fucking Tom, come out and tell everybody to go fuck themselves and put it to rest.
Honestly, man, take a video of yourself, Tom, with the people, the billionaires behind you, and they got guns. I don't know how it works over in the basements over there, but I
don't think he has any obligation to it either at this time. I mean, it's just been too long. Like, he couldn't play for 2 years. Like, I mean, what the fuck do you expect a guy? It's like an athlete, right? Like an athlete, he's supposed to race this guy. And he's supposed to race this guy a mile. Well, all of a sudden, like, for some reason they can't race. Now 2 years later, the guy's in his prime and he wants this old guy to fucking race him. So, like, now is this old guy supposed to fucking lace up his shoes and run this race against this young whippersnapper where, like, he's drawing dead? Like, I mean, like, when does the fucking guy not have to run the race?
Viffer, you'd like the poker Twitter debates, man. You seem like you're a pretty good debater. You could have been a lawyer yourself.
I don't fucking know if I could be a lawyer or not, but I just know what I believe is what I believe. And, like, if anybody doesn't agree with me, they die at grease fire.
Bang, bang. I mean, listen, I'm all for that. Ivy stories. People keep saying Phil Ivy stories.
So So like, I mean, I don't have any Phil Ivey stories. Like, you're gonna like, I mean, like, I know they want these stories about everybody else, but like, I fucking not, you know what I mean? Like, I'll tell you a Ben Lamb story. You want to know? I'll tell you a Ben Lamb story.
Okay, it was Ben Lamb. Charge my boy Ben Lamb. What's up, Ben?
So we're out one night, and Ben's been planning this trip to. He's gonna go to Thailand, and then he's gonna go to Macau. So like, we're out one night, and we're at the club, and we're talking about this, and I run into this girl that I kind of know, but I haven't seen in forever. And I'm like, yo, you want to go to Thailand? And she's like, yeah, let's go. So Ben already had his stuff all planned out. And so I talked to this girl, and like 3 days later, we all get on this plane and we fly to Thailand. So we're in Thailand, and I think another friend of ours goes. So like, there's these 3 couples, and we're going to Thailand. And we're in Thailand, and we're all staying at the same hotel. Well, the funny thing is like, we're all joking around, but we're Ben and I are like signing whatever we can to the other person's room. Like, it was just like kind of this like joke or whatever else. Like, yo, I'll buy dinner, and then we'd sign it to the other person's room. Yada 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 yada. So it was pretty funny. So now all of a sudden we try to check out of the hotel, right? And I go down there and I check out first, and we get out. And he comes down behind us, and we get in the limo, and we're driving away. And me and the girl I'm with, we just can't stop laughing. We can't stop laughing. It's like, and Ben's looking at us, and he's like, what? And then all of a sudden, he gets this sick look on his face, and he's like, you guys signed everything to my room. So we got the whole bill, like our room bill and everything else like that, signed to his room. And he just lost it in the back of the fucking limo, which is like kind of my fun Ben Lamb story.
What did he make you pay him back, or what? Did you give him the money?
No, so I mean, like, no, so like, I think we rented a yacht one day, and I ended up paying for the yacht. But I mean, you should have just seen his face. He's like laughing, and then all of a sudden, it's just like he had this epiphany where it like just hit him, and he just knew. And he like jumped on the phone and he called his credit card company. And he's like, oh, fuck. And then he finally started laughing after a bit. But
the Viffer shuffle. You pulled the Viffer shut. You pulled up time. You dirt him, man. You gave him the Tom Dwan Jungle Man on him.
Yeah.
Man. You've had some fun times before. I guess so. I mean, man, so many stories. I guess like an inceptual sort of moment for the podcast right now, because we had all these great Viffer stories over time, and now we get even more Viffer stories. I feel like, who do you think out there has the most Viffer stories that if we asked them for Viffer stories, they'd be able to give us Viffer stories?
David Williams, Joe Cassidy,
names down.
Matt Gianetti, like all the people that lived in Vegas, like, 2006, 7, 8.
So every night, just hookers, drugs, blow. It's just that like the old back in the day on 2+2, there used to be a saying. It sounds like that was your life.
Nah, I wasn't. So we lived at Panorama, right? So Panorama was like where all the cocktail waitresses would live, all the pimps, the hookers, the strippers, the cocktail waitresses, the host, and everything else like that. So it was like, first of all, like you just go down to the lobby at like 4 a.m. and you just point and pick girls, or like, somebody was having a party at the time, or like
okay.
Antonio had his his big penthouse over there, so there'd be he'd always have something going on there, or David would have a place. Like, there was just like it was just fun. It was like a fun time to be in Vegas. It was like all the poker players were like out having fun and spending money, and just like everybody was like more friendly. It's just different. Like all the people like I associated with like were like pretty free with money and all that other stuff.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it was an adventure, man. Let me see what we got. Guys in the chat, give me some questions for Viffer. some stories you guys might want to know more about here. Let me see in the chat here. You want to give some shout? You want to give a shout to anybody watching out here, Viv? Want to say what's up to anyone?
Nah, I got no friends. No, I mean everybody. Fucking whatever. What's up?
You got no friends, really? Is that true?
No, I'm sure I got friends. Like I did this for the people I don't know, not for the people I know. The people I know have already like lived these stories or know them. You know what I mean? Like we'll be sitting around we'll go out to dinner and stuff, and I'll start telling stories, or you know, we'll tell stories that we've all lived together. See, like these stories people think are outrageous, right? It was like we could just like tell a different one like every week because we'd live it. It was, you know, these aren't really stories. These were like ways of life. You know, like, I don't know. I'll tell you, here's a good story, and I'll probably have to go after this one. So I was living in Panorama, and I moved back to New York for like a month. And I says, all right, I'm going to come back to Vegas, and I'm going to get totally healthy. And so I go to New York, and I'm on my way back, and I says, I'm not going to drink. I'm going to have this trainer. I'm going to do everything that I can. So I rent this house in the Ridges. And the Ridges of Vegas is like up by Summerlin. It's like 30 minutes from the Strip. It's brand new, beautiful on a golf course. And I rent this house. It's like 5,000 square feet. It's got this infinity pool overlooking the Strip. Yada, 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 yada. Just this nice house with like, whatever, like an entertainer's dream, whatever else. So I'm living there by myself. And every day I'm like waking up. I got the trainer coming. They're like bringing me this good food. I'm getting healthy. And this is like November. So I'm going along. I'm doing good. You know, I'm messing around. Like I go to the Strip. I play poker for like an hour or two. And then I'd come home. I didn't really want to be DJing. And I was trying to lose weight and get really healthy. So this goes on for a month. Another month goes on. Christmas comes. Don't do anything. Like, I'm just really proud of myself. I'm working really, really hard. Now, like every New Year's, we would go out and we'd just like blow up the town. Like, all my friends. So I'm like, no, I'm not doing nothing this year. I'm going to stay home. And like, I'm totally content. So I'm sitting there, and at like 5 o'clock, these two girls call me. And they're like, yo, we want to go out. And I'm like, nah. And then like they send me this picture of like they're kissing and like, oh, and I'm like, yo, let's go out. So I call everybody up, and we get the table at Hayes, and we're overlooking the table and stuff like that. So we go down to the club, yada, yada, yada. At about 12:30, they look at me and they're like, yo, we want to go do coke. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So we get in the limo, and we're going back to my house at the Ridges. And we're doing, everything's going yada, 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 yada. We're doing what guys would do in the limo. So we get to my house, we start doing a little bit of coke, and I did a little bit. I'm tired, whatever. So like 4 o'clock comes around, and I'm like kind of bored with them. So I get in the car, and I drive them to like the closest casino, which is like Red Rock at the time. And I drop them off and tell them to get in the cab and go home. And so that's fine. So I go back home, and I'm like trying to sleep or whatever else. And I can't sleep. So I'm like kind of a little bit wired out from this coke. And I'm like, fuck, you know, I can't sleep. I don't know what to do. So I call these girls up that I know. And this one girl comes over, and she's like, all right, whatever, drinking. We're having fun. We're playing in the pool. And she breaks out some fucking powder. And she's like wanting to do fucking lines off my dick and whatever else. So she chops this shit up, and fucking, she goes, here, do this. So I fucking do this line, and like my nose starts bleeding. It fucking burns like hell. I'm like, oh shit, whatever. Now, I've never done meth in my life up to this point. So she gave me this fucking line of crystal meth. And I'm like, ah, fuck. So now I'm just wide as awake as could be, and feeling like Superman and Iron Man, and like I've never felt so good in my whole life. And So I'm like feeling really good and stuff like this, and then like whatever. So like now I'm bored with this girl, and I send her away, and I'm like fucking. Now I'm just wired, and so whatever. So now like I just have more girls come over, and so back in the day, right? We'd have our phone, and we'd put girls in our phone. Would be like Angela SR, or Mandy SR, or Nicole XS, or whatever else like this. So you go through the thing, and about that time of the day, you look for the girls that say SR, that's their name. And it's like Mandy SR, which is Spearmint Rhino. You know, that's where you know them from. So you go through your phone and you fucking text. So whatever. Long story short, 5 days later, I'm still up. I've had like many girls come to the house. I don't even know. I'm fucking doing meth the whole time. I got fucking sex toys and all kinds of shit. Whatever. So now I'm like fucking done. And I call this girl that she's just a friend of mine. And I'm like, listen, you got to come over and help me with this situation. Joey, I need 10 minutes. Can we finish the story in 10 minutes?
Can we finish it in 10 minutes?
Yeah. Can we take a 10-minute break here?
10-minute break, guys. 10-minute break. Yes, let's do it. I mean, now we got to hear the end of the story. All right, we're going on a 10-minute break, guys. 10-minute
All right,
break.
I'm just going to close this. Do I just hit the same link to come back in 10 minutes?
Hit the same link to come back in 10 minutes, sure.
You got it. I'll be back.
All right, 10 minutes. Okay, guys, we're going to get some shout-out. We got a 10-minute break. I don't know. Let's get some shout-outs in this motherfucker, man. Guys, we're going to do a recap of what we're just witnessing right now. We could be witnessing one of the greatest episodes with stories in the history of the podcast. I feel like the podcast has came, like, it started off here. It went around there. We had Hollywood Haxton on the podcast here. The damn thing came back around here. And here we are on August 25th, 2016. And my God, I don't know. What do you guys think happens next? So here, let's set the story up. So he's doing meth, allegedly doing meth for 5 days. Many girls coming over to the house. A friend comes over to the house. I don't know. I don't even know what happens. Just got to take care of it. So let's give some shout outs. Who we got in the chat? We got my buddy Adrian Phoenix. What's up, Adrian Puppy? What's up, brother? Ghost to M, Curly Pete. Who we got in YouTube? Roman Gerbit. Massa Chris, Eric Lemquant. What's up, Eric Puppy? Marco Uporn, Madeline Mad, Uporn, Thomas LaBelle, Jonathan Alexis, Leganis, Jesus 40, Jesus 420, Ball Bulky, Chris R, DK Poker, Leganis, Justin, and need a shout out for the best pod ever, Puppy. Andrew Riviera, 9 months later, he had a kid, bang bang. One Bello, okay. Diego Rodriguez, Colamosa Caraboracita, what's up, Puppy? 100% friend is a guy and they have gay. No, I don't. I mean, I gotta say no, but I don't know. Gus says sounds fabricated. I don't think so. 10 minutes he won't come back. I'm gonna bet he does come back. Dovidos Kubris, what's up, buddy? What's up, Six Sniper 12? Kulipik, cycling guy, yo. Andrew Ships, I missed the beginning. Poppy, Viffer doesn't have webcam. No, Viffer currently not on webcam. He's not here right now. He's on a break. Vipper took a 10-minute break just when the climax of the story was coming in. He's right now, we're currently in a house. We've been awake for 5 days. We've been doing, we're on meth for 5 days. And then we've had many women come over to the house. We just called up a friend. A friend is waiting. A friend arrives. I don't know what happens next. We don't know where it goes from here. But yeah, I'm very excited to find out. So who else we got? Ryan, Joey, how do I become a part of the GTO club? You want to become a part of GTO club? Send me a message and tell me what you want to be a part of the GTO club, my friend. Hit me up on Facebook, or you can message me on YouTube, or message me on Twitter. Michael says, you link some pics of this dude? Need to see what the wild man looks like. You know what? Let me pull up some pictures of him right now. Let me get some photos up of him right now if we can. Well, I guess we can't. You can Google. I mean, Michael, there's a thing called google.com. You put in Viffer at the top of the page. There'll be photos that come up, my friend. Robert says, Joey, loving the work you've done over the summer. Thank you very much, sir. Odds the story ending with a dead hooker. I could see it for sure. I could see it, man. Aurora Chad Puppy. What's up, brother? Gonzo Jones, My Wee is Green, Poker Star. I really want to know what happens in the story, man. I've never had something like this happen. We have no video and a break. Oh, don't forget about the sex toys. Yeah, there were sex toys at the place too. So the podcast needs like a disclaimer when it gets posted. Drugs may be fun, but they're dangerous. Do them at your own risk. Yes, guys, we do not advocate any of you guys try to go recreate these stories of Viffer's, his everyday life. Please, we don't advocate you go try to do this. Tim Murphy says, Joey Puppy, when's the upcoming guest looks like? Next week, we're having DFS week. I'm going to be having on former poker players who are now turned some of the best DFS players, Asani Fisher and Ryan Dott. I'll also be having on a young man named Jonathan Bales, owns a co-founder of a site called FantasyLabs.com. I'll be having on debatably the top DFS player in the world, Max Dory, a.k.a. Sal Hill Sud. And I'll also be having on a couple of the best analysts in the NFL/DFS world, Evan Silva and Adam Levitan, who also plays a little bit of poker as well. So we're going to be doing a DFS week for everyone to get hyped up for NFL week 1 so we can all not lose all of our money. That's what it's going to be. Let's see, man. Give me a couple questions here, guys. I don't know. This is a little strange. I'm talking to myself for 10 minutes waiting for the story to come back and get the end of the story here. So I don't know what happened. I'm really anxious to see exactly where he went and what happened. So yeah, we'll if you guys didn't check out the podcast this week, we had Daniel Negreanu on. It was once you get past the point where we talked about PokerStars changes, I thought it was very, very good. Before that, it was fun. We also had on Phil Galfond last week, one of the best podcasts of all time, of course, Phil Galfond. Joey, try to get Rick Sullivan on the podcast at some point in time. I will reach out to Rick Sullivan. What is Viffer's number of girls? Well, he said he doesn't like to have sex with all the girls. So if I'm going to say blowjobs, I would guess approximately 2,000. I'd say 2,000, and sex, I'd probably say like 500. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm curious what you guys think. I'm not very sure. While we were waiting, what are the upcoming plans for guests and topics on the podcast? Well, I just answered that question, Ghost. In terms of poker players we're going to have on, I have a lot of people. I just don't know what the exact date's going to be. So I'm not sure exactly which date's going to be when, but we shall find out. Make sure you check out my website, onepokerlife.com. It's going to be updated with poker content all the time as well. Let's see. What other comments are out there? Ask Fair about the 9-ball story and playing Bill Perkins. We could. What happened to Life of Joey Day 4, Poppy? It's currently in the tank. Been working on the GTO Club a lot. What happened with the Jennifer Tilly podcast? I'm not sure. We're supposed to do one. I got to message her back. I think I messaged her and didn't get a date lined up. But she seemed pretty excited when I talked to her in Vegas. She seemed pretty excited about coming on the podcast. So we should get that coming up soon. 6 Sniper says, any new prop bets on the horizon? I currently have 5 prop bets where I need to work out 5 times a week. I have a no masturbation / no porn bet for the rest of the year. I have a who can change our abs the most prop bet with a young woman named Monica. And I just booked another prop bet. Oh, I booked a prop bet with Daniel Negreanu. Who can do the most push-ups, pull-ups, or plank? And we're going to be having a competition at the PCA, now known as the PokerStars Festival. And yeah, that's going to be, we got that prop bet as well. And I think that's all the prop bets I have right now. But yeah, I'm a big fan of prop betting, guys. If you can make prop bets, it's very great motivation for yourself to actually do things, especially when it comes to diet, when it comes to working out. Aurora Chat says, Haralabab Bulgaris podcast before NBA season. I would be that. This sounds like fun. I mean, I'm always, Haralabab is always a great guest to have on. So we'll hit him up. We'll see if he's interested. We'll see what happens here. Is the no fat bet hard? I don't know who's watching this right now. So I'm going to say it's actually not that hard if you have sex. It's not a hard bet to win. Let's see. My buddy James says, Joey asked him. I don't know who's watching right now. So I'm going to say it's actually not that hard if you have sex. Whoa, Viffer.
Joey.
My buddy James says, Joey asked him. You got to turn the replay off. Not that hard if you have sex. Whoa, Viffer. Inception. Joey. My buddy James says, what's happening? Viff, you back?
Yo. Sorry, I had to listen to you while I was gone.
Oh, it's okay. What do you? Are my numbers accurate or off? What do you think about my number guess?
They're way off.
Under, huh? Over?
Way under.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm like,
Man, that's a fucking lot, dude.
Superman to me, kid. I don't know. 2,000. Fuck, man. You tell me any number, I'm gonna believe it.
Dude, I mean, like fucking. Dude, Dan Blitz doesn't even have those numbers, and he's got 10 models at his house every day. And he'd be fucking a lot. But he still don't have. I mean, those kind of numbers are like out of the ballpark, buddy.
500 is it out of the ballpark?
No, not 500, but the 2,000.
That's for the blowjob part. 2,000 is
Yeah,
blowjob.
2,000's a lot, dude.
I give you a lot of credit, man. What can I say? I don't know.
I mean, fuck.
But you're getting the meth story. You got girls coming over all day.
All right, fuck it. I forget this story. All right, so I got this other story. So.
No. Wait, no. Back up. Stop. 5 days. 5 days pass. You're at the house. You're still awake. Right? A friend comes over. They're still sleep.
I'm fucking delirious.
Okay.
I've had like friends come bring me money, bring me food. Like I can't eat. I'm stuck in my house with like whatever. So I call this girl over. I'm like, listen, you just got to come take care of me. She's a stripper. She's like, whatever. She's a friend of mine, though. And she comes over, and I'm like taking G to try to go to sleep.
Oh, no. No.
So I'm taking G and stuff like this. And next thing you know, I wake up in the hospital.
G'd out.
And I've got IVs in me, and they're trying to put a catheter in me and all kinds of shit. And I wake up and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Where am I? I think I'm in California. Where's my car? I don't really know what's going on. And so they asked me what's been going on, and I'm like now I'm in the hospital, and I kind of start to remember. And the doctor's asking me questions, and he's like, so what have you been doing? And I'm like, well, I've been doing drugs and fucking hookers for like 5 days. I tell the doctor this, right? So meanwhile, I'm getting text messages from people about shit. So I'm telling this doctor what's going on, and they're pumping me full of IVs and all this other stuff, and they keep trying to put this catheter in my dick, and I'm like, no, you ain't putting this catheter in there. And they're like, well, you're not going home till you do. So I'm fighting with her, and she finally gets it in there, and they send me home. So now I'm delirious, but I feel better. So I get home, and I take the cab home, and I get home, and I'm like, fuck, wait, so before I go home, they bring me this, like, piece of paper, and I got to sign it. I guess the cops went to my house. So what happened was the girls called the ambulance and left when the ambulance got there, right? So, like, they waited till the ambulance got to the door. They're like, ambulance, he's in there, and they jetted because they didn't want to be, like, part of me dying or whatever else. So they got me the ambulance, and then they left. So the ambulance didn't really know what happened. So I get this ticket from these cops when I leave the hospital. I'm like, what the fuck? So I get home, and the drugs off the table were gone. I had some, like, mushrooms in the freezer were gone. Some, like, bottle of Geo. Like, all my drugs were gone. Like, the cops came over and went through my house, and they, like, took all the good shit. And I'm like, fuck, what the fuck happened? And my money was still there. And, like, there was, like, a pile of money on the kitchen table that was, like, sitting there, and they didn't take it. So, like, now I'm kind of feeling good, but I'm kind of tired. But I still can't sleep till I'm kind of wired, right? So I had this little stash of fucking meth in the corner of my bedroom over there that they didn't take. So I do a little bit, and I'm like, well, fuck, now I feel good. I got all these IVs in me and stuff like that. So I'm like, fuck it. So I call a buddy of mine, and I'm like, listen, and so we go, and I check myself into the Playboy suite at the Palms Hotel, and party there for another 4 days straight. Out of my mind for 4 days straight. And finally, my buddy just dragged me over there, and he says, "Listen, you're out of control. You got to go home." And I slept for like 30 days straight after that, and I've never done meth again since then. But so the HOA calls me up, and they're like, "Yo, you had 162 people come through the gate in those 5 days." And I'm like, "I don't even know 162 people. My car got stolen out of the driveway, right? So I got my $300,000 Mercedes. I go out there, and it's fucking gone. Now I get a call from the landlord, and they're like, "You've got 7 days to get out." And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "You had naked people running around like the thing." And I'm like, so the neighbor to the left was Harry Reid.
Who's that?
Like the senator.
Oh, Senator.
Harry Reid was like the neighbor to the left. And then 2 houses down was like a prominent judge in Vegas. So like I was just gone. I got like booted out of this house. The only reason I got the house is because I paid like 6 months in advance. They just kept it. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the house was in perfect condition. There wasn't like, you couldn't even tell there was a party going on. So like I got booted out of the Ridges, and now I'm not even allowed back there. But that's my degen story for the day.
That's a story, all right. That's something, man. 162 people over. Wow.
You've never had 162 people come over?
We got to be honest with you, not in a 5-day time period. No, normally, no. I would
Especially
just.
Especially when you only know like 160 of them? Or you only know 2 of them, right? 160 of them, you have no idea who they were and still don't know.
No one ever told you no one ever said something? What happened? Like Harry Reid didn't tell you the details or anything like that?
I mean, he also told me was get the fuck out, but I guess like his wife didn't appreciate like naked girls running through the golf course and stuff.
I could see that could be a problem for sure.
Yeah, it's like, they were like a little bit snooty fucking party poopers.
Fucking senators, man. I can imagine, they... What
the fuck is wrong with them?
I bet Harry Reid liked it, man. Naked chicks running around. He's like, man, I'm trying to go out there and get it in right now.
I mean, fuck. You just got to get it in.
Where'd you go for 10 minutes? Where'd you go, man?
I can't. I mean, that's a trade secret. I'd tell you, but then you'd be jealous. I had to go rub one out.
What?
I had to go rub one out, Joey. I mean, I just sit here and look at you for an hour, and I had to go pop one out right into the fucking bathroom. I just couldn't take it.
I mean, I feel like that's 75%. That could be true. I don't know. I'm not sure.
There's a small chance.
Yeah. Okay. I'm okay. I gotta go with that. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. You know what? I gotta be honest. You're probably not the first guy that's rubbed one out watching me on the podcast here.
All right. TMI.
I gotta be honest. You're probably not, you mentioned another story before you got back into that one.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. You had like another one on your mind. You came back fired up with the story. You're like, all right, let me tell you this other story. We wanted to finish the meth story now.
I don't know. What's a good story about poker players? Vanessa Selbst.
So Vanessa Selbst.
Yeah, her too. So we're out one night at dinner, and I think it's like New Year's or whatever. And we're having dinner, and it's like a nice dinner. It might even been like a Poker Stars party or something. And but it was like a nice event, and everybody was dressed up. And she's wearing this suit, and she's got her hair done, and she's looking like whatever. She's out on the prowl. And so I go away, and I come back, and she's like macking on my girlfriend like hard, like fucking whatever. And I come over there, and I grab her, and I'm like, "Hey, babe, what's up?" And she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Nah, you're cool." Like, I mean, I take it as a compliment. You know what I mean? Like, you come around like somebody's flirting with your girl, it's like a compliment. But like Vanessa was like all dressed up in like her suit, and she was like, walking around like, and she just happened to pick my girl, and she like got all embarrassed and stuff. It was like, I don't know, like you just had to be there to see it. Like I gotta be honest with you, I thought this ended one way and one way only, and that was some sort of three. Oh no, Stop. We don't tell those stories.
Why not?
What's that?
You tell a story, I'll tell a story.
Well, I've told a few stories, Joey.
I'm not gonna tell those. I mean, I can't tell. I'm not gonna those stories like that. I mean,
like, why don't you just put some people on blast? Like you keep asking me to. Like you keep asking.
No.
me.
We don't want you to put them on blast. We want you to tell fun stories, man. We don't want you to blast nobody. We want to hear some, like, we ask Lex. Lex got a Viffer story. He tells us a fun story. We ain't trying to blast no one here on the podcast, man.
What story did Lex tell?
He told the story about you. You came to a table. You came to a table. You told the whole table. You'll give me the exact story, guys, in the chat, please. It's something about
the story.
You remember the story?
I think so. Where I told the whole table, and so I just wanted to bust the whole 1, 2, or 5, 10 table or whatever else.
Yeah, you went to the table. You said, "I'll flip you guys. If I win, I take all your money. If you win, you chop up my." How did that? I can't remember the specific.
We're dead drunk, right? And I'm walking through the casino, and everybody's like, "Yo, Viffer, come play here. Come play here." So I'd come sit down, and I'd just be like, "I'm all in every hand," and whatever. The only time I wouldn't go all in, whatever. So I was just all in, and I would stack some people, and they'd get mad or whatever. So I'm like, listen, I'm out of here. This is no fun. I'm like, so here's what I'll do. I just want to win every chip on the table. I says, deal the whole table around. Everybody goes all in. You guys get to pick out of the 8 hands which hand you want. And I'll just keep whatever 2 cards I have. And we'll do it for all the money on the table. And it was for 9,000 or 15,000 or something. And I mean they ended up doing it, and they made a good decision. They had they could have had 2 3s or ace queen. And they took the ace queen, and they won against by 9 deuce or something. But I mean that's probably the story he told. It was because I always wanted to have all the chips on the table.
It would have been awesome if you busted the whole table.
Right?
Why not? I mean, Ben said Lex told a story about Viffer competing against a guy for who could play for the longest.
Oh, God.
A lot of Adderall going on there, I'm sure.
I played 72,000 hands straight one time. Is that a lot?
Well, how long was this? Technically, I think I have the record for most hands ever played cash games in a day, which is 50,000 hands, but I did that in 20 hours. So my longest session, I think, is that. I think it's about, no, I played a PLO session that was 50-some thousand hands. So but that was over a long period of time. That wasn't over 24 hours. So wait, how many days was this?
Maybe 2 or 3 days straight. 3 days, maybe.
3 days, 72,000 hands straight?
Maybe. I think it was I know it was 3 days straight. I know at the end, I was calling with 8 high on the end. And, I was just delirious. But yeah, that was no good. I think I know I played for 3 or 4 days straight in my basement. And
what the hell were you playing? What were you 24 tables? What are you playing?
I think I was playing 6 tables or 12 tables, maybe 8. I think I was playing 8 tables at a time. It had to be. I'm pretty sure it was 72,000 hands.
I gotta see a receipt on that, man. I gotta see the hold'em manager graph on that. I'm ready for a bet. I'm trying to beat that.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it was 72,000 hands. That was fucking delirious though. People are calling me up. They're like, "What are you doing?"
I love it.
I'm like, yeah, whatever.
I mean, you're awake 3 days straight. How can you not be delirious if you're awake for 3 days straight?
That's true.
I mean, shit.
All right, Joey, you got me for 15 minutes, and then I'm going to go.
15 minutes. What you got planned tonight?
Baby duty, man. I didn't even want to do this. I mean, so when I agreed to do this, the baby was supposed to come at the end of the week.
Mm-hmm.
So, now the baby's here. The wife's downstairs taking care of the kid. And I'm up here telling D-Gen stories.
Well, hey, man, we know. I feel like the poker community all thanks you for you sharing your story, sharing the fun times that you've had in your life. Because, I mean, people, like I said, they love it, man. They I feel like people, in a way, they dream about things like this. They aspire, they they might not want to do it, but they always like some part of their minds wants to do that whole lifestyle. You're partying, you got the women, you got the high stakes. So, I mean, you kind of like live a lot of people's fantasy that they have.
I'll tell you another story. Here's a good story. Not really a good story, but this is a more normal story. So I'm playing like big no limit, and I've got like $1 gazillion, and I quit, and I just want to have breakfast before I go. So I sit down, and they're playing like 200, 400 limit, and I sit down and I play, and I order room service, and I'm talking to a kid, and I've got like, I probably have like 600,000 sitting on the table, and I'm talking to this kid, and he's telling me how he's going to law school and this and that, and how he's like a year away from finishing law school, but he wants to quit and be a professional poker player. And I'm like talking to him and everything else like that. And I looked at him and I says, listen, buddy, I says, you see all this money, you see the nice cars, you see the nice women. I says, I would trade it all right now to be where you're at. And I says, don't give up your education or your real life to come live this quote unquote fantasy life over here. Because at the end of the day, it's, and I meant it, by the way, it's like, it's, so as good as a life as I've had on the outside, it wasn't really as fulfilling on the inside. And so now I do like half as much, and I'm 10 times as happy or stuff like that. And, that's like, so all these people out there that, these young kids that think they're going to be this professional poker player, or, that look at these things and think that, it's this great life or whatever. It looks great until you live it. And it's the experiences and everything that I've had are great, but like at the same time, I've missed out on a lot of other things. I think that there was one time where like I didn't leave the casino for, a year straight or something. And so like I was like in casinos nonstop. And it's so you need like some sort of balance in your life. And
it's not too late for you to have that now. I mean, you're still, you're 40 years old, but you can still have that for the next 10, 20, 30 years.
Oh, of course. And that's where I'm at right now. And I'm pretty happy with that. So.
Well, shit, man, let's go out on top. Let's go on that note, man. I like the story, man. That's some real talk right there. Viff, I appreciate you coming on the podcast, man. I appreciate you sharing some stories with me and with the people out there. And if people want to follow along, you tweet. You got tweet. It's @4Viffer. Do you do anything else? Are you an Instagram guy or
No, I'm not even a Twitter guy, Joey. I'm a retired guy. But thank you for having me. I do appreciate it. I will say this: you will be the last of any televised or recorded Viffer stories. You've heard it here. This is that's it. I'm done. Officially retired from this kind of stuff. So I will talk to you later, Joey. Thank you for having me.
Much love, Poppy. Have a good night, man. It's nice talking with you, Viffer. That's it, guys. Viffer's out of here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in the podcast. Be back on, I might do a surprise one tomorrow with a surprise guest, or Saturday, not sure. Be back next week with the Daily Fantasy Sports Week. Whew. That was a good podcast, guys. You can find the recap of this podcast. I'll be putting out some short clips for it as well as a condensed version on my website, onepokerlife.com. You can also find the podcast on iTunes. Check it out. Search Poker Life. That's it. I'm out. Everyone tuned in. I appreciate all the comments. Appreciate all the questions. You guys are really fucking awesome. Appreciate all the support as always. And yeah, let me know what your favorite story is, man. Hit me up on Twitter @JoeIngram1, Facebook, Snapchat. I don't know, man. The normal place everyone's at. Snapchat, JoeIngram1, Facebook, myself, and all that stuff. Guys on YouTube, appreciate you, man. It's been a lot of fun. I don't know if Viffer really masturbated to me, but I'm gonna hope I hope he did. So that's it. Peace out. I'm out.